What there's a group of 6 of you up there. What do you got going on? Is it a coalition, or how would you describe it?
Yeah, you have a lot of revelations when you're getting stitched up. And the first one was that fighting crime alone is very pointless. So I got a team of 10 guys who are sort of like-minded. We all have different uniforms and suits, and we team up together and do patrols in different areas and fight crime and stop drug deals and different kinds of things like that. So, yeah, definitely.
It's amazing. Tony, do you have any questions before we get into this? I want to bring up the whole illuminated cell concept because I think that's what he represents. Do you all know about the illuminated cell? Have you heard of this theory? When a caterpillar becomes a butterfly, most people think that the caterpillar goes into a cocoon, right? At a certain point in its life, it goes into this cocoon state, and somehow inside the cocoon it becomes a butterfly. Is that what we all kind of think? So they've discovered this thing called an illuminated cell. And what happens is at a certain maturity point in a caterpillar's life, a cell appears inside the caterpillar's body. So think of the caterpillar's body as like the host world. And this cell has a totally different idea of how to make the world a better place. And in the case of this, it's the caterpillar, right? So it's the caterpillar's body is the world. And all the other cells that are pre-existing on how to make that world a better place kill that cell. And before that cell dies, another cell somewhere in the body gets the same idea that there must be a better way to handle how this body or how this host planet should exist. And all the other cells gang up on that cell. And as that cell dies, a couple other cells have that same idea until there's such chaos going on inside the body of the caterpillar that it cocoons itself. And it becomes this sort of, what do you say, like a protoplasmic mess inside? So you've got all these cells with conflicting ideas on how to make it better, how to make its host body, its host planet, in the case of this organism or the cell, a better functioning system. And eventually, the new concept of how to make it better wins out. And that's where things like the butterfly's wing appears, and the colors and all the beautiful parts about a butterfly. And what emerges out of that cocoon is a totally different way of being for this creature. You and I were talking today, Phoenix, and one of the things that I think what is amazing about what you're doing is you're taking the whole concept of the real-life superheroes to a whole different level, because I don't know, the story you're going to tell right now is, I think, going to kind of sort of where I was at yesterday when I heard this for the first time, that it's beyond just going out. And how would you describe what he's doing? Because it's a whole nother level of this.
Well, I mean, the activity he's involved in is really proactive. It's almost like if you run across crime, it's an accident. Phoenix is very accident prone. He's always out there where the crime is, and he knows where to go. Your theory is really incredible, but I just don't like the part where the first cells die, because he's one of the real first ones that's doing this.
What I mean is the whole idea is that what you represent is the idea that people can actually affect a massive change in society by doing something different and handling things in a very different way. I think the real life superheroes represent that. Yes?
Fair.
So something incredible happened, and I'm going to ask you to tell the story. So what is the thing that I've been teasing? Can you kind of describe and give us the whole setup? What happened?
Sure, definitely. Let's start this way. Let's do some audience participation real quick. How many people in the audience right now think that I'm going to die in less than 6 months?
Jesus,
this
really?
is a great audience. Yes. All right. How many of you guys are questioning whether I'm actually effective at fighting crime, considering it's one dude in a rubber suit? Good. I want honest answers. That's good. We only got one? A little kid in the back. No? There we go. Okay. Well, you're right. As a whole, it is very hard to walk around an entire city and find everyone doing something bad and stop them. So have you guys ever seen something bad and wanted to do something and never done anything about it? Just walked away and been like, man, I really should have done something. Hands. Cool. I never have. That's the only difference. So I got a tip on my Facebook page, and it basically said, it says, I'm a bouncer.
Phoenix Jones has a Facebook page.
I do. guardianofseattle@gmail.com. That's how you find me on Facebook. Friend me. But I got a tip on my Facebook page, and it told me that there's a person I think is sex trafficking people out of my club who don't speak English. It's very awkward. Is there any chance you could come check it out? I'm writing you because I know that you're not real, and I've told my bosses, and they won't do anything about it. But maybe if I write you, I'll feel better. I was immediately offended because I'm very real. So I went to the club and I showed up in my suit and I asked to talk to the guy and I told him to put me on the guest list for next weekend. I showed up and I came in a different kind of costume. I wore a Jerry curl wig, and some glasses, and a little earpiece, and a couple other things. And I came there, and right on time, this guy showed up with 2 Asian women who didn't really speak English, and he sat down in the club in the exact spot this guy told me. And I was kind of shocked. So I walked over and I struck up conversation with him. And halfway through the conversation, he asked me if I would be interested in sleeping with his wife. And I asked him how much, and he said $300. I said, I don't know, that's a lot of money. I've only got $50. So we struck it down, and after a little bit of time, I had actually negotiated the price it would take to sleep with this man's wife. So right away, he was right, and that was, that she was a sex trafficking victim, because she didn't understand what we were talking about. She couldn't even speak English. So we walked outside, and we approached the car, and I sat down and I said, let me get my brother. I think he needs to get in on this too. So I go get my brother and I have him sit in the car. While I go inside, I dial 911 on my Bluetooth earpiece. But with my Jerry curl wig, you can't see it. So as I'm in the car negotiating price with the guy, the 911 dispatcher is hearing me negotiate to him. The police show up and they finally show up. They get there after some deliberate time. They come up to the car and they come over to me and they ask my name. I tell them my name and they go, are you that superhero guy? I said, yeah, I'm the superhero guy and this is what I got. And the cop looks at the guy in the car with the woman who doesn't speak English, who's clearly upset at this point. She's almost in tears. And the cop goes, all right, you guys can go home. Gives me back my ID and says, all right, you go home too. Stop calling the police. Yeah, didn't see that one coming, right? Not a very good ending, huh? So I went to the police station the next day and I said, look, I'm pretty well known now. I've been fighting crime for a while. I'm going to go to pretty much every news station in the city if you guys don't investigate this. So the lead of human sex trafficking in the city came down and started investigating it. They found out that the guy's license plate had warrants in 3 different cities for almost $100,000 in warrants. He was, that's right. He was wanted in like 3 different places for the same thing that I was saying, sex trafficking. And they were able to find out where the guy's house was, and they've since arrested him and found the women that were locked in his house. So that's just one of the stories. Yeah.
I guess most people would ask about your costume, but what the costume represents the message, right? Or is it actually protecting you, or does it make you feel safe? Like very basically, when people look at you, the Superman costume must represent strength. But when you put it on, is there something that changes inside of you?
With me, not so much, but because of other things, I'm pretty much just as active in the same activities outside of my suit. The suit simply was, I'm going to be in a dangerous area. I need a symbol that people understand and can respect, and I can make something that they can believe in. And I need to mix that with being protected. The way I answer your question, I think, is that Batman had a bat symbol. He was the richest guy in pretty much the world at that point. He could have done anything. He could have given the police a direct line to Mongolia that somehow directs us to a cell phone. But instead, he put a symbol that they have to shine in the sky for all the citizens to see. And I think the reason he did that was so criminals see it too. They see it and they go, man, is Batman out here tonight? Do I want to be out here doing this?
That's what I was going to touch on. It's prevention.
Yeah. When I walk into certain neighborhoods, people literally just walk in their car and leave.
And
they're criminals, all of them. There's certain neighborhoods where people are standing on the corner selling drugs, and I walk in, and people go, "Oh man, it's Phoenix Jones, man. That fool is crazy, dog." And they just walk away.
I just want to give a hand to Phoenix Jones. Think about the amount of energy it takes for him to wake up every morning and put on this costume and walk around and send this message. This is incredible. I think it's really amazing.